All right, welcome to Grand Arena Championship Season 6. I'm sure all of us are looking forward to another season after a little bit of a break. I know I certainly am. Grand Arenas are definitely my favorite part of the game, and really looking forward to getting back in on it again. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is End All Be All, and I typically stream Grand Arena videos. I usually don't make any other kind of videos, and my videos typically tend to be about 30 to 40 minutes long, and I go through a live version of my attack phase, and then I usually talk about my thought process in the video itself. So if you like that kind of stuff, if you like listening to the exact mechanics of the game, and you like listening to me talking about my strategy, then you've come to the right place. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our current opponent. Our current opponent is Doka from the guild Russian Wolves. Got a decent General Skywalker team and a fully maxed General Kenobi negotiator squad as well. Let's take a quick look at the board itself. My typical style is setting a tough defense. So what I do is I usually set my meta teams on defense. I typically almost always set up Darth Revan and General Skywalker, and then hope that my opponent doesn't clear me, and then I try to do my best to clear my opponent on offense. I typically don't usually go for an efficiency game on offense because I primarily rely on my defense for winning the match for me. So let's take a look at what kind of a defense strategy I have for the 5v5 with ships. Now we have three over here up front, so I've kept my three strongest teams on defense up top over here. My General Skywalker, my Darth Revan, and then I've kept my vanilla Separatist droid squad over here as well. My opponent did manage to one-shot both my General Skywalker and Darth Revan, but did struggle quite a lot on my General Grievous, and got to admire the persistence over there. 10 battles, that's something. And over here below the zone at the bottom, the character zone in the back, I've kept two teams which are, I would say, tricky teams where the opponent would be would have to decide the balance of what kind of team to take. So the main goal of these teams is to try to get your opponent to overcommit and spend a team which is higher in caliber than the teams that I've set out here, because they want to see what's at the back first. So that's why I set up the new team and the Wampa under Shakti team. Hopefully my opponent has overcommitted over here and exhausted two good teams. And at the back, I kept my next two best teams after the three meta teams up top. Django lead with the Nest, with the high offense Nest, and then Sisters over here, which took three battles for my opponent. And in terms of fleet, I've set my Negotiator. My opponent didn't get a chance to reach this, obviously, but I typically set the Negotiator on defense. I would advise you to keep the Negotiator on offense if you don't have a way to beat the Negotiator. I have a couple of ways on my offensive team to beat the Negotiator. I've climbed for about a month using Admiral Akbar and Han, Millennium Falcon. But lately, just a couple of days ago, I have also unlocked the Malevolence, and I've been climbing using a 5-star Malevolence over the last 2-3 days. So I've got a couple of ways that I have to beat a Negotiator, which is why I kept my own Negotiator on defense. But otherwise, I would recommend you keeping your Negotiator on offense if you don't have a good solution to that. All right, so let's take a look at my opponent's defenses. They have kept their own General Skywalker on defense over here, which is, I think, why they struggle a little on my defense. The other teams are not really anything to worry about. They've got a low geared crew team and Karth team. Nothing much to worry about there. And Bounty Hunter team, which I think they've kept L3 over there to prevent the trooper counter. And they also have a new team with Django Watt and Nest, which is going to be interesting. But let's focus on the General Skywalker team. I want to talk a little bit about a counter that I've been using over the last week or so. You all might have seen the video that Clash came out with. It's a new video. It's gained a lot of popularity. It's basically talking about the Stormtrooper Han lead to counter GAC, and I've been really quite impressed with that. If you guys haven't already seen it, be sure to check the video out. Be sure to check out Clash's channel as well. He, in my opinion, is definitely one of the best and most creative theory crafters out there, and I love what he does with Scoundrels. So let me show you the team that I usually use to counter, and why I think the new team is better, at least for me. Usually, I use the CLS lead with Stormtrooper Han and Watt to counter gas, which is quite reliable, but I do end up losing at least 2 or 3 characters, and it ends up costing banners, but it's a very reliable win. The Stormtrooper Han lead, it relies on the concept of Stormtrooper Han getting guard, and the fact that there are 4 or 5 ways to get protection back in that team. So it makes Stormtrooper Han extremely durable. His lead also gives him extra defense, and you basically need to have him relic up. At least relic level 3, I think, is really required for him to get that extra defense and protection to really be able to survive that. Because he'll be taking the brunt of the damage. The tricky part over here in this team comp, and you can check out more details in Clash's video as well. The tricky part is going to be getting your Stormtrooper Han to get guard when you've got a couple of other characters who may not be as relic up or geared up for you. In my case, my Watt was already there. I have him at relic 3. I think it's a good value. But I think even at G12, as long as you have your Watt fast enough, it should be able to. I think you should be able to get his protection and health up above Stormtrooper Han. And for Vandor, that's another place where I've Clash obviously has an R7 Vandor Chewbacca, and this counter works perfectly for him. But I wanted to try out whether I was able to make this counter work with a G12 Vandor, and I did have to move mods around, but I was able to make the modding so that my Stormtrooper Han does get the guard over Vandor Chewbacca. So let's go in and take a look at let's talk a little bit more in depth about the individual modding for each of these characters, and what I would recommend as the modding, especially if you have a lower geared Vandor and Watt. Now, the first character, Stormtrooper Han, obviously he needs to get guard. I've kept a couple of, I used to have all health mods on him. I've kept a couple of defense mods, and this one has got defense primary as well. Now, obviously, General Skywalker, whenever he hits Han, he's going to ignore defense, but at least for the other characters, the clones, when they hit, the defense is going to come in handy. On the circle and triangle, I managed to keep a protection arrow out there, and I managed to keep a little bit of speed over here as well, because I don't want his protection to be too high. Net, his health and protection is about 140k, which is what I need to get my Watt and Vandor over that amount. So this is what his health and protection looks like at relic level 3 and with the mods that I currently have. Now, that means that my Watt and Vandor have to be higher than that, and my Watt is currently, you can see over here, it's slightly above 140k, so it just managed to give the protection, the guard to Stormtrooper Han. In addition, I think what is really important on Watt is speed. I managed to get him at about 317 speed, and the reason for that is you need him to, the very first tech that Watt gives out is going to be the weapons tech on Han, but the second tech is extremely important. You need to make sure that your second taunting tank tech goes out on Stormtrooper Han as soon as possible, and you need to do this before before Arc or Echo or Fives go and kill one of the other team members. So it's important for Watt to be fast because of that. So I've currently kept him at 317. My Vandor is at about 66k health, and he gets about 80% boost to his health with his unique, and his protection goes down quite a lot as well. But at 66k health at G12, I was able to get him at to be higher in effective health and protection than Han. So that works out pretty well over here. Apart from that, his other stats, in my opinion, really don't matter. His speed or armor or anything else like that. He's really not going to be able to revive anyone because of General Skywalker lead. But as long as you have, what is most important over here is his unique, which enables him to get his allies to recover protection. And reduces the damage that the enemy team does as well, as long as he's buffed. So that's the only thing which matters for Vandor. Now on Han and Chewie, I really haven't changed any mods from my previous setup. I have him built for tenacity, 163% tenacity at 246 speed, which is decent enough. You really don't want Chewie to get dazed, which is why it's important to have some tenacity on him. But if you have a backup, Watt can always cleanse daze on his basic as well. So you have that backup going for Chewie. On Han, you really need damage, but apart from that, I think you also need him to be relatively faster. I think you need him to be at least 260 to 270 speed because you want Han Solo to move before the enemy General Skywalker has a chance to go. Because you ultimately want to be able to attack Skywalker and able to get him down on guard before he gets a turn. So it's important in terms of speed for Han Solo to go before the enemy General Skywalker. So this counter will work only in those cases where the enemy Skywalker is slower than Han Solo. I find it to be more reliable in those cases. So that's a brief overview of the overall mods. Let's go ahead and what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the cases in which this particular counter is going to work against Skywalker, and in those cases where it's not going to work. The first thing I mentioned was obviously it's more reliable if Han Solo is faster than General Skywalker. So that's the first check that you have to do. The second check you have to do is whether your Watt Tambor is effectively going to go before the enemy ARC and your enemy ARC Trooper and Echo. And also General Skywalker. So how do you calculate that is my Watt is at 317 speed, which is pretty fast, but you have to remember that Rex's unique gives a 20% speed bump to all 501st allies. So what you need to do is you need to divide 317 by the current speed of your Watt by 1.2. And with that, I get about 264, 265. So at 317 speed, I need to make sure that the enemy ARC and General Skywalker and Echo are going to be less than 264 speed. So that Watt gets a chance to go before them and put the taunting tech on Stormtrooper Han. That is very important because if Watt goes after them, there's a very high chance that they'll target down either your own Han Solo or your own Chewie and get rid of them. So there's a very high chance that will happen if you allow them to go before Watt. So I find that the success rate of this one works much more if your Watt is faster than the enemy ARC, at least, if not anyone else. Fives you won't be able to outspeed. Fives will go first because of all the attacks that you do on Rex and gas. The enemy 5 is going to get turn meter and he's going to go before no matter what, so you won't be able to avoid that, but you at least can do a check to see if your Watt is faster than the enemy troopers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick check. I'm going to do a battle against one of my arena opponents who is going to be faster than whose arc is going to be faster than 276. So this one is a good example. So in this case, you can see that the arc is faster at 276 speed than my Watt at 317. So at 276 speed, this ARC Trooper is going to go at his effective speed is 331. So what's going to happen is my Han is going to go first. And then the ARC Trooper is going to go to basically do some damage. And let's see the speed on the others. Echo is 217, so not much of an issue. Rex speed doesn't matter because he'll be stunned. And 5s also doesn't matter because he's anyway going to go get turn meter. But let's take a look at General Skywalker is 257. So my Han Solo is faster than the General Skywalker, which is number one. But the ARC Trooper of the enemy is going to go before my Watt. So this is a risky battle, but I want to show it in any case because I want to showcase how what actually happens, the sequence of events, and what are the cases where the battle might fail. So there's a 50-50 chance that I'll fail this battle, but I want to at least have a practice battle before I go in with go into my actual battle. Sorry about that. All right. So let's go ahead and tackle this battle. Okay, and I can show you the failure points over here. So the very first thing that you need to do is go after the Rex and stun him. This is no different from the other counter that you have under CLS. And then you need to give the weapon stick to Han. Now you'll see over here 5s goes, and now because my Han is faster than the enemy Skywalker, I get to go next. And now let me do this. Alright, so you see over here there's a danger of Han basically being targeted and taken out. So because of the fact over here, it's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Because of the fact that arc speed is effectively more than my watt, the arc is able to target Han Solo and almost take him out before my watt has had a chance to go and put the taunting tech on Stormtrooper Han. So this is the danger I was talking about, which is why I would find if your arc is faster than your watt, then I would use the CLS counter. That's definitely more reliable. But if your arc is slower, then this counter is much more reliable. So let me go ahead and put the taunting tech on Han. So what happens over here is echo goes, and then if your Han is low on health, then your Han will get taken out just like this, and then the whole counter fails, because without Han, this team is not going to go anywhere. So that's basically the danger that I was talking about. Now I might be able to take 1 or 2 team members out. So if this was a grand arena, what I would probably do is go after Rex, and then try to at least get 5s to sacrifice, so that the next cleanup battle will be a little easier. But this battle anyway is not going to go anywhere much. So that's basically what's going to happen over here. So now that we've talked about the dangers of and what you need to watch out for in terms of speed, if your Han or Chewie gets targeted by a faster arc or echo, then this team is going to fail essentially. But let's go back into our grand arena battle and see what kind of mods our opponent has, and whether we can use that counter or whether we need to use a CLS counter. First check is General Skywalker. Now here you can see the General Skywalker is at 224 speed. My Han is at 276 speed. So I'm definitely faster than the General Skywalker. So the first check. Second check, Arc Trooper. Arc Trooper is at 242 speed, which means my watt is going to be faster than that, and I'm going to be able to put the taunting tech on Stormtrooper Han before Arc gets a chance to go. If the Arc was faster over here, I would use the CLS counter, but in this case now I'm going to use the Stormtrooper Han counter. Echo is also at 244 speed, which is less than my watt. So my watt will get a chance to put the taunting tech up before these guys have a chance to target down either Han or Chewie. So let's go ahead and enter this battle. And I'm going to use this combo, and let's see if we are successful. So the very first step, we're going to go after Rex and stun him. And then I'm going to give the weapon stick to Han. And then I'm going to go after General Skywalker. And here I'm able to get him down. But over here, you'll see that 5s went before because of all the turn meter that he was getting. But what I'm going to do over here is, now I'm going to put the taunting tech on Stormtrooper Han. So that any attacks that Arc makes is essentially saved. Now let's go after 5s. Let's do this first. Let's taunt. And let's give this to Han so that he survives a little bit. And let's give the other tech to Vandor so that he always remains buffed. Okay, so we weren't able to get 5s down, which is unfortunate. But let's try to at least get this guy down. Now you can see over here Stormtrooper Han, because he has guard and because he has a Zeta and he's relict, he regains tons of protection, and it's pretty easy to for him to survive essentially. So now with this, what I'm going to do is I don't need to bother about the days on Vandor. I don't need to bother about the days on Watt, but I do want the speed down on Han to go away. So I'm going to use the basic on Han, and then let's go and get a stun. Okay, let's try to get this guy down, and this should hopefully get this down. Okay, so only 2 topples, so that is good. Now you can see over here we've got only gas remaining behind. So we're going to use our counters to try to get him down. And as you can see over here, excellent progress. We have decent banners. We are able to have all 5 characters remaining behind. And one thing I'll talk about is this particular ability of Han, never tell me the odds. You notice that I've never used it in this battle, and the reason for that is it gives out tons of buffs to the to your allies. When that happens, as we know, gases and the 501st team's offense really builds up with lots of buffs. So I tend to usually avoid this particular ability, never tell me the odds, and just use Han's special and his basic. So let's go and finish it off. So that was dodged. That was unfortunate, but we did manage to end decently well. So 58 banners, which is a great outcome against gas. Even if you use a gas mirror or you use Darth Revan or even the CLS squad, you're never going to get more than 55 banners just because of the way that you lose characters. But with this counter, what I really like about it is it allows you to recover banners at a really good rate. Provided you select the right team to take it against. Don't take it against the teams that I talked about before. But if you select the right team to take against, this can provide you really good banner recovery against even tough Skywalker teams. And at the same time, it allows you to repurpose your CLS to use with Old Ben and C-3PO and maybe a couple of other rebels in another really strong offense or defense team. So that's basically a great advantage to have in Grand Arena. All right, so let me go ahead and let's since we've talked about this particular counter, it's something that I'll probably end up using quite a lot in the future as well. I'll probably cycle between this counter and CLS counter depending on what kind of a team I'm seeing on defense. But between these two, I think I've got a 100% success rate, provided I select the right team to take it against. So now that the toughest team on the board is taken care of, what I'll do is on this counter, I'll give a link down below to Clash's original video in case you haven't seen it already, and I'll also give a link to a follow-up video that I did of my team taking out a couple of R7 level Skywalker teams. So just as a reference point, so you can refer to that. So that's something that you can check out in the description below. All right, so let's get on with our Grand Arena and let's go ahead and finish this off. I want to go ahead and clear the bottom zone, see what's at the back, and then we can take stuff up top. I have enough offense, I think. I want to save my Padme and JKR for whatever's at the back, but the rest I can expend up front. So what I'm going to do is against Bosk, I am going to take, so there's L3 over there. So I'm going to take my Geos in there. I don't think I need Sunfac. These guys should be more than enough to do the job. Let's just go in with these guys and see what happens. Let's save our big hit for now. Let's get rid of Zam if we can. I don't like those thermals. Let's see if we can't apply an ability block out here. Couldn't get that done. That's fine. We can get rid of Bosk pretty soon. All right, big hit, almost down. So he's done. Let's get rid of L3, and then we can work on Boba ability block. So that's good. Let's see if we can't get rid of this guy. Now I need to be able to find a way to get some health back, which I think this will help with. All right. I don't know if we ended up with full banners, 59, which is fine. All right, so this one is done. If you see a relatively weaker bounty hunter or new team, you can take Geo's undersized. But to be safe, I think it's better to go in with full. Anyway, so now against the Newt squad, I want to take in my Basti EP. I think that that'll give me the best control. And I'm going to take in Nihilus over there just so that I have the option to recover health and protection at the end while stalling on Nest. I think that's going to be my plan. And because there's Watt also in there and there's a high damage dealer over here, so I need something with control. So I think EP is going to do a decent job over here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this team in. So Watt does that first. So I go ahead and what tech has he given to Nest? He's given the tank tech to Nest. All right, so I'm going to pass this on to Basti so that she applies fear on everyone. And then I'm going to try to get rid of Watt over here. And then I'm going to fracture Newt so that he doesn't get any extortion out. Trigger the stagger and stun a few of them. All right, let's work on Dooku and get him down first. How about a shock over here? Excellent. Let's do this. All right, Dooku is down. I want to do a shock over there. All right. Okay, progressing along fine. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, a shock over here. Okay, this should get rid of Newt. Let's pass this back to Basti so that we can get another fear out. And I am going to fracture. Should I do Nest or Django? You know what? Let me do Django over here. Nest is anyway on timeout right now. Right, let's stun. Excellent. Let's just do an ability block over here on basic. Any one of these guys have shock? Yet they do. So I can pop the shock on Nest so that Newt goes. And then let's start working on these guys. All right. Now it's just a question of getting the Annihilate out. So I'm going to speed this up a bit. Is the damage immunity? No, it's still there. All right. Let's keep working on Nest. All right. Let's annihilate Nest first, and then we can cycle back to Django. We've still got an annihilate left, so we don't have to bother about damage immunity and all of that. I just want to make sure that I have my protection topped up. So whenever you take an EP team or any team that can regenerate protection, one thing that I really find useful is to find one or two characters which can effectively help you maximize protection. So stall characters essentially. So they could be somebody like Zalbar, or they could be something like Nest in this case, where you are basically stalling on them and allowing your characters to regain protection, so that you end with the full banners essentially. So here I still have about a minute left, and I need to make sure that this guy's turn comes fast so that I'm able to annihilate him. Okay, so now the damage immunity is gone, so we might as well just kill him just like that. That's the first death. There, we didn't even need annihilate from Nihilus, but 60 banners, which is what we were going for. All right, let's see what's at the back, and then we'll clean up the teams at the top. So we've got a Geo squad, and we have a Night Sister squad, which is great. So we have our Jedi Knight Revan, and we have Padme that we can use against these guys. So yeah, nothing much to worry about. We've got our Treya as well in case we want to use that. And then at the top, we've got crew, and let's take these guys out first. This is a relatively simpler team. So against Karth, I'm going to take in my first order. It's a relatively straightforward counter. I'm just going to go in with all of these guys. I usually replace first order officer with Hux. It's pretty effective, and very easy to end with full protection and full banners with those guys. So what I do is I like to, because Hux starts with advantage, I like to always pass the turn meter over to crew and get him to stun again, so that I put two people out of action right at the beginning with the stuns. And then let me start working on these guys. Dispel, and let's do this. Let's get rid of him. All right. Now we just have to recover our protection. Let's keep the taunt on crew by attacking with basic. So that's the reason I had stunned Mission, so that she doesn't counter with all of this stuff. Let's land a stun on him as well. Let's give this back to crew so that he stuns this guy, and then we can take out that guy. Okay, so you see what's happening over here, right? I'm basically using the double turn stun, and I'm using the refresh on that to basically keep these guys under permanent stun, and completely controlling the battle, not allowing these guys to take a single turn. All right, let's target Mission, get her out. I think I'm almost at full health and full protection on everyone except for maybe first order Stormtrooper, which I can do now. Once he gets a turn, I think I'll taunt with him. Then I should be good. Probably won't get a chance. Yeah, I think I missed a little bit of protection on him. Okay, that's fine. So effectively, I really like this team because it's great at controlling teams with stuns. Right at the beginning, you start with a double stun on two characters, which keeps them out of action for more than half the battle while you work on the rest. So let's take a JTR squad against the crew. It's a relatively weak crew, so not too worried about it. So I can just take my full JTR squad in there. I probably don't need R2D2, but yeah, that's fine. Not really bothered about any undersizing or anything like that. I just want to get a full 60. All right, let's give this guy some days, reduce his turn meter, and then let's start working on the others. I'm going to start working on first order Executioner. Get him out, and now let's see if he can't get rid of first order TIE Pilot. Let's land a stun on Kylo because he's going to go next. Let's work on first order Stormtrooper. Pass this on over there. Let's do this and heal up a little bit. Let's actually get rid of him altogether so that we can focus on the two Kylos at the end. And this is another example of a stall character. Kylos are great at that, where you can essentially because they've got either stacking defense or they regain health and protection with tons of buffs. You can essentially stall on them pretty effectively. All right, let's get rid of one of them at least. I think we're already at full health and full protection, so we don't need to stall on anyone. We just need to apply a healing immunity over here. And then we should be able to get rid of this guy. All right. We don't even need healing immunity. Okay, 60 banners there as well. Let's see what ships he has at the back. Take care of this one, and then we'll go down below. So I have the option to go either Malevolence or Rebel Mirror. I prefer not to use the Malevolence against Rebels, just because there's a high chance that you lose a ton of ships, and you may even lose a battle. I've got a much better Rebel fleet, and Rebels are much better at regaining health and protection as well. So I think I'm just going to take my Rebel fleet in there and have them clean this up. What other character do I want to take? I don't have anyone who is going to recover health and protection, but let me just go in with this one as a backup, and I think I can go in undersize on this. I don't think I need to worry about it. I think my Rebel fleet is going to go first. Let's see. So I'll have to go and get rid of Sunfac first. Supply some. Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and take care of Sunfac first. Ooh, my Biston went. That's not good. All right, let's see if we can't take care of, let's go and get this guy out. So this should take care of Sunfac, so he won't be a problem anymore. Now let's go after Biggs, take him out. My own Biggs was taken out, but let's see if we can't finish off these guys. Okay, who do we want to take in? Let's take in Cassian's U-Wing. And I want to go and target this one and take it out so that we don't have any problems. And now we get rid of it. Okay, so let's see how many banners we got. We lost 61 banners. Otherwise, we would have got close to 63, 64, I think. That's fine. All right. Now let's see what teams are left to take against Geos and Night Sisters. So against Night Sisters, I think I'm going to use my Padme, and against Geos, I think I'll use my Jedi Knight Revan team. How fast are these guys? Brood Alpha is at 279. I'm definitely going to be able to go and mark these guys first and finish it off. And against, yeah, let me just take the full Padme team. Let me go against Night Sisters first and use my Padme against them. I'm going to go in full. I don't think I need to undersize anything right now. As long as I clear this, I win pretty comfortably. So I'm just going to take the full Padme team against Night Sisters. All right, that's excellent. So Asajj has gone first and already exhausted her dispel, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. I'm going to call Annie over here so that confuse is applied. All right, let's get some more protection up. Let's see if we can't get rid of one of them. There we go. I think both the deaths are exhausted now, so I think we're in a good shape. And now we just need to get rid of these guys. 27 stacks, so that should take care of it. I'm going to apply a confuse over here, so zombie doesn't taunt anymore. And then let's get rid of Daka. 19 stacks, this should take care of Spirit. This should take care of Let's see. Let's get rid of Asajj first since she's got maximum turn meter. Let's do this. And let's get rid of 1000. And now we just have zombies. This should be, I think, 59 or 60. Yeah, good outcome there. Let's take care of the final one, the geos, and we should be done. So I'm going to mark, let's see how much health this guy has. Tons of health and protection. But I think I'm still going to mark, should I mark Spy first and get rid of him? Where's Spy? Oh yeah, Spy is this guy over here. He is moderate for damage, and they will equalize with every single hit. But let's see. I think I'll or should I use my Padme team over here, my Treya team? Let's keep that as a backup in case we're not able to finish it off. But I think these guys will have enough offense to get the job done. So Brood Alpha, let's go and attack him first. Let's spread this around. Give this to Yoda. Give this to Yoda again. Yeah, plenty of assists, so this is really not much of an issue. Now it's just a question of cleaning it up. All right, let's pass this back to, let's actually do this. Pass it to Basti so that she can heal up a little bit. Let's heal everyone up. Yep, no issue at all. Okay, so we did manage to end with 60 banners there as well. So let's take a look at our final score. 1930. This is a relatively simple match. The defense really wasn't much. My opponent kept almost everything on offense. General Grievous, his CLS, his Padme, Treya. But I think my defense performed pretty well. I think I was able to pull some good meta teams out from front out here. And yeah, I think my Night Sisters did hold up well as well. And I was surprised my opponent wasn't able to get through my Grievous with the amount of offense that they had. I think probably if they had kept their General Skywalker on offense, they would have probably been able to clear my zones. Anyway, so that's the end of the first battle. Hope you found the section on the Stormtrooper Han counter useful. I'm frankly extremely excited about that, and if it allows me to repurpose my CLS somewhere else in another strong team, then I think that's a great outcome. So all right, that's about it for now. Before I log off, just a quick reminder for folks, if you guys haven't already checked out Zadith's channel, he's a good buddy of mine. He makes excellent Grand Arena videos, and he's a really good he's a good player. He's I call him the Kyber King because he's always reached Kyber and Grand Arena championships right from the time that they began. And he's a pretty good player, and he's very, very close to 1,000 subs. I think he's just about 20 or 30 subs away. So if you guys like Grand Arena content, be sure to check out Zadith's channel as well. I'll leave a link of that down below as well. Go ahead and give a sub to him if you like his content. You won't be disappointed. He's really a good guy to follow. All right, so that's it for the first day of Grand Arena Championships. I'll catch you guys in a couple of days when we go after our second opponent. Till then, talk to you guys later. Take care.